this was a little while ago too, because this was something we wanted to talk about for a bit. Let's not dive too deep on this, but Angie asked or says that wasn't good yesterday. We lost because of the umpires, and that once again brings up the robo ump conversation. We ran a poll on Dodgers Nation on Twitter. Check it out. Follow us if you're on the internet. 70% of people, just about 70% of people, do want some form of the robo ump. Where do you stand after? We're all evolving as each game goes by, and each time somebody like Sean, whatever his name is behind home plate. What's the DMAC underscore LA stance on the robo ump right now?
Yeah, I mean, after yesterday, and we know his name is Sean, I should have been a barber because you can't cut it as an umpire, okay? And him behind the plate to make 3 bad calls that took the bat out of the Dodgers' hand late in the game. I don't know if he had the Clipper, if he had the Cubs +1, if you wanted to watch that Clippers playoff game, if he had to pee, if he had reservations at the Palm or something like that. But he clearly wanted to see that game end. And to me, I just look at Major League Baseball and the product of baseball. And you want the players to be able to decide the game. And Jason Hayward, that should have been ball 5. Okay, that was the 5th ball in the at-bat. The Peralta one was on the border. I can understand. Then Freddie Freeman, we're talking about an MVP. We're talking about an all-star. You missed that bat in the bottom of the zone, and it really hurt that Dodgers team's chances that we know they can come back and win the game. Did it cost them the game? No, because they had 8 innings to go and win you the game. And when you score 2 runs, you really don't have a big stage to really complain. I mean, let's be honest. That offense was putrid, but still, I think if you look at the robo umps, and if you look at the fact that, yes, they're not 100% accurate, and Joe West has come out and saying, they're only 7% accurate, and big league umpires, if they grade them, because a lot of people in the comments, they say, why aren't these guys held accountable? Well, they actually are held accountable in that they are scored, and big league umpires on average are 95% correct in their calls, but I talked to a scout at the Dodger game on Saturday, and he told me that a lot of umpires around the league, they're complaining with all the increased responsibilities that they do have, and that's kind of hurting their concentration. But on the same token, I've been saying this for years, is you need to give Dave Roberts, you need to give the managers the ability to challenge 3 calls per game, because that's how it is in the Arizona Fall League when they sample with the ABS system, and you get 3 challenges, and then that's why you still have a strategy and say, if you used it in the 2nd inning, why'd you use a challenge in the 2nd inning? Because look, the reality is that's 3 challenges. You had 3 calls that you say cost them the game. You could have used them in those situations, and I think it takes some pressure off the umpire. I think it makes the game actually more interesting and more dynamic. And also, look, you want the player to decide the game. And my other big gripe is about pitch framing. I mean, look at the pitch framing. I've always said for years, if you want to be a magician, go to the Magic Castle, right? If you want to be a catcher, because we don't need to see that level of deception. You're not pulling a rabbit out of a hat. You're trying to steal a strike. They literally say you're stealing a strike. So, yeah, I mean, we know Rob Manfred, he likes to say, we're taking jobs away from guys that have that in-hand skill. But I think that you can't have pitch framing like that, even though it is a skill, and I understand it, but still it is deception. So yeah, I hated it because I wanted to see another walk-off instead of how the game ended. But what were your thoughts on it?
Well, I mean, the actual calls, pure crap. I what I want to see, I don't know about the full-time robo ump. I love the idea of a challenge. I actually like the idea of like a battered challenge. I just don't know how you do that.
They do. They tap their
Well,
heads.
I know they do that, but how do you limit it? Because then batters are going to be there like all the time. No, I'm going to challenge that one. Oh, I'm going to challenge that.
Yeah.
And then
Like
we're going to look like early Dodgers, 2022 Dodgers right there, back when they was too short. That's what I would like to see. I like the idea of 3. I think 5 is too many, because then you got to be smart about your challenges.
Yeah, no, and I think, too, I mean, Major League Baseball, the way they would look at this is, what do they want to do? They want to keep these games as short as possible. We've already seen the new rules have an impact games averaging around 2 hours and 38 minutes. If you're using the robo-ump system, the ABS, it's not like, Clint, you have to go back and watch a swipe tag or the leg getting under or anything like that. It should be instant, so it's not like it's going to add any additional time. And I think it'd be great for the game, because yesterday, I mean, Sean Barber, he went to the Angel Hernandez School of Umpiring, and you had fans in my comments saying, this is the first time I've wished that we had Angel Hernandez instead of Sean Barber. So when you're in that conversation, you know you're making guys mad. But me, I'm always about the growth of the game, and when you consider it's week 1 of the NBA playoffs, you have the NHL playoffs going. No one paid to see the umpires ump. You paid to see these professional athletes. There's 738 of these big big leaguers in the world. You want to see their talent shine out there. And I was really surprised, too, when you consider, I mean, did you see Jason Hayward after the game? He said that he hasn't seen 3 bad calls like that since low A ball or something like that. So
14 years ago or something. Yeah, it was pretty egregious. But then you go and see the umpire scorecard come out on Twitter, and it's like it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Of course, the 3 or 4 biggest calls were all against the Dodgers, and they were all pretty much the ones.
He had the Cubs +1, I'm telling you.
In the 9th inning. I think homeboy just wanted to beat the traffic, or he had a reservation, maybe at the Magic Castle to work on his pitch framing or something like that. A few comments here, because we've been really bad about the comments so far. Appreciate y'all hanging out with us. Dodgers Chloe, she says maybe we could just have half and half, just because there's guys like Pat Hoberg that can actually call a good game. We love some Pat Hoberg up in here. Actually, I love no umpires. I love nothing. I'm dead inside. But more people in on the challenge. Diane says, I love the idea of a challenge system until we get the Robo Ump. Matty Man 5 Dodge says, obviously you should only challenge called strike 3s. I do like that. I mean, you also probably would not want to waste it on like, all right, that's strike 1.
Yeah.
No.
Also, dude, that's going to take the batter out of his rhythm too early in the at bat. So I like that take there.
And it's not like it's something where they're not going to need to go to on the phone to New York. They're not going to need to go take this time. Right now with the pitch clock, they have a buzzer that tells them when a batter has incurred an infraction or a violation, or a pitcher has violated himself, or whatever we want to say with it. Wait, I thought I was going to get a beep. Thank you. They could just have no. That was here's a ball, here's a strike buzzer, and then they just have a whole bunch of I don't know. Apple
but I did want to ask you though. I did want to ask you though, because I know you're a big fan of old school baseball and like the characters of the game, the Sparky
we gotta be able to sharpen our cleats like we could back in the day. Go in, spikes up.
Honus Wagner attacking a fan in the. I don't know. But I think I think that's kind of my big thing too, is you don't want to lose that element of the game, because I did the post-game show right after the game, but as I was clicking off, I did hear them say Dave Roberts is going to get thrown out after the game. Did he actually get thrown out after the game?
I know Joe Davis mentioned it. I don't think he got tossed.
I don't think so either. And I think maybe after the Jason Hayward call, I think that was the time to go out there, maybe kick some dirt on the ump, and maybe just kind of light a fire under your team. I know that's kind of
something too. That I like. That I know a lot of people do not like it. They think it's all just show. But think of like Aaron Boone. Not that it's ever done anything, but Aaron Boone loves going and get himself kicked out of game for his Yankees, and the fans appreciate it or something. But I do think there is something to inspiring your team. I don't know if it would have made that much of a difference in that situation. If anything, it might have pissed off home plate umpire more, and maybe Freddie Freeman strikes out on 2 pitches instead of 3. Yeah. I don't know, but I don't know. I think there's something to it. I enjoy a good old fashioned argument, kicking some dirt, throwing some bases around.
And if we had Robo Umps, we could lose that to an extent, because maybe they could break the. Yeah, that's a good point. It kind of has been phased out. A lot of nice guys in the game. You don't see those old school types. But yeah, look, I think what fans want is they want the right calls, and I think that you're going to continue to see human error as far as umpires, and I think you're going to see it as a part of the game probably the next 2 or 3 years. I think we've seen the signs. We've seen the ABS system work relatively well. Rick Monday is the guy who's kind of like, he talks about how he prefers human umps versus robo.
Rick Monday?
Rick Monday is a big...
Wait, hold on. Wait. So you're telling me Rick Monday talked about how the game used to be back in his day?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't ever do that.
Yeah.
Not a single time has Rick Monday ever talked about the way the game used to be.
Yeah, no, he's definitely a big human ump guy. So I think
all that. I love Rick.
Rick's the best. He's the best. But I think the point I'm trying to make is that once we prove to the Rick Monday types that the game would be better off with the Robo Ump, and also too, if you see the success that some of the new rules are going to have this year, they're going to say, okay, we got to trust these guys. We got to trust the evolution of the sport. So I definitely think in due time you are going to see those Robo Umps. I've always had the theory that these bad umpires, the Angel Hernandezes, the Sean Barbers, that they actually own stock in the robo-ump companies, and then they're being bad on purpose just so they switch to it, just so they can make money off it.
Talk about this guy coming in here dropping conspiracy
theories over here.
My tinfoil theory.